Ram Lakshman Hanuman Ji Shri Gaurnitai Ki Jai, Hare Grace Mother Satya Ki Jai. The program will conclude here. Those who would like to go to Central London Harinam, this is the time. They're going to have a Maha Harinam there with the whole festival crew. So please do make your way there. There will be other memorials and an event held. So please keep a lookout for that. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Also tomorrow evening from 7:30 p.m. till 9:30 p.m. there will be kirtans here dedicated for Mother Satya. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. In the temple now we will be having a Bhagavad Gita class. So for those of you who would like to stay and learn something, please do sit down facing Hare Krishna. Take up all the cushions, take up all the cushions. All the cushions, take them. Take all the cushions. So pick it up.
Hare Krishna. Krishna Avatar, are you going to be here? Are you staying or are you going for Hari Nam? Is there any chance you could stay? Haribol Madhav, is there any chance you could stay long enough to sing Jai Radha Madhava? Yeah? Okay. And maybe Madhav could like to help you. No, you sing, Jai.
Yeah.
How long should I? Oh, sorry. How long should I? Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada.
I just want to thank Krishna Avatar Prabhu and Madhav for leading the kirtan and the mridanga. Thank you so much. You did much better than I would have. So, welcome to the Bhagavad Gita class, and we're doing chapter 6, text 25. Hare Krishna Mata. So, I would like someone to lead the Sanskrit. Would you like to lead the Sanskrit? No? Okay. Would Mum like to lead the Sanskrit? But you need to talk in the mic. Can I give you the mic, or you come to the mic? If you don't want to, that's okay. I'm going to ask everyone to get involved, but I don't want to make you feel anxious either. So if you feel anxious, just say, no, pass. Raka, would you like to lead the Sanskrit? Of 625? Would you like me to ask someone else? Okay, no problem. So Naina, would you like to lead this out? Would either of the gentlemen like to lead the Sanskrit?
Oh, I can't speak Sanskrit.
No? Okay, well, would you like to have a go?
Do you have a bigger text? This is too
If I had a bigger, sorry, it's the same problem, that's why I gave it to you. No, I'm just joking. But, okay, so if I read it, will you follow with me? Yeah? Okay. Shanai, Shanai, Upramed, Uparamed. Shanai, Shanai, Uparamed. Bhujya Driti Grihitaya. Bhujya Driti Grihitaya. Atma Sangstam Mana Kritva. Atma Sangstam Mana Kritva. Na Kinchid Apichintayed. Kinchid. Okay. Would anyone like to do the word for word? Yeah? Okay, so come and get this mic. Maybe you can just come and sit next to me and do the word for word. Come. Would you? Your friend, come on up. Do the word for word. Yeah. The more we participate with the Gita, the more we get out of it. If we just sit passively and listen to someone go blah, 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 nothing goes in. But if we engage with it, we'll actually get a lot out of it. Okay. So what I want you to do, I want you to read that and then wait, let everyone else repeat it, and then read the English. Wait, we'll all repeat it, and you go through.
So from here?
Yeah, just the word.
Yata, yata.
Shanai.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah,
Shanaya,
Shanaya.
gradually.
Gradually.
Sanaya,
Shanaya.
step by step.
Step by step.
Uparamet,
Uparamet.
and then that's one should hold back.
One should hold back.
Buddhaya,
Buddhya.
buddhya. By intelligence.
By intelligence.
That one's a bit hard.
Driti Grihitaya.
Jiti grahitaya,
Driti Grihitaya.
carried by conviction.
Carried by conviction.
Atma samstam,
Atma Samstam.
placed in transcendence.
Placed in transcendence.
Mana,
Mana.
mind.
Mind.
Kritva,
Kritva.
making.
Making.
Nanat,
Na.
na is not.
Not.
And kinchit,
kinchit,
anything else,
anything else,
api,
api,
even, chintayat, should think of.
That was excellent. What can I ask your name? Do you mind? Vijesh, you did that like a pro. Good job. So we need. I would like someone to lead the English translation, if possible. Can I interest you?
Gradually, step by step, one should become situated in trance by means of intelligence sustained by full conviction, and thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone and should think of nothing else.
And repeat it with you.
Gradually, step by step, one should become situated in trance by means of intelligence, sustained by full conviction, and thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone and should think of nothing else.
Thank you so much. That was excellent. And is there any confident reader who would like to read the purport? Yeah? You look like you might want to. Do you want to have a go? Come on up here then and read into this. Do you want to have a go? Okay, come on. Everyone's being good and bold, brave tonight. Good, thank you. Do you want to read the whole purport? Just that.
By proper conviction and intelligence, one should gradually cease sense activities. This is called pratyahara. The mind being controlled by conviction, meditation and cessation from the senses should be situated in trance or samadhi. At that time, there is no longer any danger of becoming engaged in the material conception of life. In other words, although one is involved with matter as long as material body exists, one should not think about sense gratification. One should think of no pleasure aside from the pleasure of the Supreme Self. This state is easily attained by directly practicing Krishna consciousness.
Thank you to everyone who participated. Welcome everyone to the Gita discussion. It's chapter 6, text 25. And if you have got smartphones, if you've got your Gita, whip your Gita out. But if you don't have your Gita, whip your smartphones out. This is the proper use of technology to help us hear Krishna. We normally use our technology to help us hear Maya. But if you bring out your smartphone, you can go on a website called Vedabase. If you put in Vedabase, it'll come up and you can find your Gita. If you can't find it, bring it up to me and I'll help you find it. So you want to go to Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, text 25. Okay, so let's read this again and see if we can understand what's being said. Gradually, step by step, one should become situated in trance by means of intelligence, sustained by full conviction, and thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone and should think of nothing else. We have a very brief time, so I'm going to go to the purport. By proper conviction and intelligence, one should gradually cease sense activities. What do we think Prabhupada means by sense activities? Does that mean we should stop seeing? Does that mean we should stop hearing? That we should stop walking? What does he mean by cease sense activities? You said activities that gratify the senses, so sense gratification. So step, by conviction and intelligence, one should give up sense gratification. Can you think of any examples of the things that we do for sense gratification? Anyone go to the movies here? Any Facebook scrollers? Any restaurant goers? Nightclub goers? You know? So all the things we do for a materially good time. Now, we have to, with proper and intelligence and conviction, give these things up. The first intelligence we need to have, in order to give these things up, what do we need to know? I'll repeat it if you do it. Speak directly in this, or I can repeat. Yes. The first thing we need to know and be convinced of is I am not this body. I'm a spirit soul, and the spirit soul is a servant of God. Why is that very important to understand if we're going to give up sense gratification? Go ahead. I'd love everyone to participate. The more you participate, I want to tell you a secret about the Gita. The Gita is Radha Gokulananda personally speaking to us. We come to the temple and we pray to Radha Gokulananda. Oh dear Radha Gokulananda, dear Sitaram Lakshman, dear Shishikonitai, please save me, please solve this problem, please solve that problem, please sort this out, please help me with this. But how is Krishna going to speak to us? He speaks to us through the Gita. Just like he spoke to Arjuna. But in order for us to hear the Gita, we actually have to make an effort to understand. If you sit passively in a Gita class, that is better than not coming to a Gita class. But if you participate and you try to switch on the brain, what is Krishna telling me? You will actually begin to feel guided by the Lord in your life. Krishna promises this in the Gita. Do you know where he promises this? Does anyone know? Don't think I'm making this up. Go to your chapter 10, go to verse 9, chapter 10, and then verse 10. Go to verse 9, and if I'm not wrong, in verse 9, he says, my devotees, they fix their mind on me, and they always engage in hearing about, discussing, and enlivening one another about me. Katain tascham mam nityam tushanticha ramanticha. They're always talking about me. They don't just sit passively. They engage, they talk about me. And then if you look at 10:10, do you know what he says in 10:10? Go ahead, Sanaya. Yes, it's to these devotees who are eager to hear and understand me, to do this katain tasham nityam tushanticha ramanticha that he's explained in text 9. This is what it means to serve Krishna with love. Shravanam kirtanam Vishnu smaranam. He says, if you do it from within your heart, I will give you the intelligence how to come to me. So please, you've made this incredible effort to come to Bhaktivedanta Manor on Saturday, the 20th of January 2024, and give your valuable hour. So while you're here, make the most of it, engage with it, so that actually Krishna begins, he really wants to hear me. Now I will guide him. So let's go back to what's being said. If we know we're not this body, we're the spirit soul, why is that going to make a difference to whether we engage with sense gratification or not? How is that going to make a difference to me? And you know what? I had a bit of a head start from you because I got to look at some verses. But if any of you would like to share anything, please tonight do share, tell me, and I will repeat it. Go ahead. Did you want to speak into this? Okay. So he's saying, then we'll know that I'm temporary, I'm not this body, I'm not going to stay in this body forever. The world is temporary, no one's going to stay in their bodies. So material happiness is temporary. Let me try to go for that which is real happiness, with that which is eternal, with Krishna. Did I understand you correctly? Wonderful. You know, one of the first things that convinced me about Krishna consciousness when I was visiting, like yourselves, was when a devotee gave this metaphor. He said, if you do a very complicated mathematical equation, who here is good at mathematics? You are. So, I don't know if you did any of those long equations. Yeah, yes. So you may do one of these really complicated equations, and I won't know, I forget all the science when I used to do maths at school, cosine, sines, algebra, all, trigonometry, yeah, you've got all these little equations going on. And you do everything perfectly, very complicated. It takes a few blackboards, a few whiteboards. And you're very intelligent. But you start with one wrong axiom. Just one little wrong axiom. By mistake, somewhere in the very beginning of your equation, you put 2 + 2 = 5. And then everything else after that is wonderful. Will you get the right result? It was all a waste of time. So similarly, we're making a very complicated plan for material happiness and solving the miseries of life. We have got artificial intelligence. We've got very complicated banking systems. We have got very complicated internet systems. Everything is very complicated now. And in everything is in order to decrease our misery and increase our happiness. But is it working? Are people happier? What is the rate of depression? I was in Watford the other day, and it said 18 people a day commit suicide in Britain. That's Britain. We're not talking about Afghanistan or Iran or where people are really suffering. We're talking about Britain. No one's 18 people a day committing suicide. So despite our very wonderful arrangements for sense gratification you can watch a movie anytime you like on your phones. You can go to, just order food without cooking it, just eat. I think it's called just eat. And still people are suffering. Why? Because we start with the wrong calculation. I am the body. So in order to stop sense gratification, that's the first thing you need to be convinced about. My whole pursuit of happiness starts with the wrong premise. I am this body. That's why I'm not happy. That's why I'm depressed. That's why I feel anxious. That's why I feel so many negative feelings. Let me start with a new premise. I am a soul. Now I have to know how to make the soul happy. And the soul is a part of God. So for the soul to be happy, just like if you want to make a fish happy, what do you have to do with a fish? Put it in water, because that's where the fish belongs. This was another metaphor I heard when I was first visiting. You may have heard it. You know about the fish out of water? So you may take a fish out of water and put it on a throne. Put a big crown on it. Bring the dancing girls in. Bring the champagne. Bring the steaks. Bring the movies. It should be happy. No, because it's not in its element. It's going to die suffocating. It needs to be put in water and doesn't need all of this. And we're like that. We're a spirit soul. We need to be reconnected with God. Then, now I'm happy. So this is the intelligence we need. And we need to be convinced about this. Now, most of us, myself included, to some degree or another, I'm not convinced about this. Because if we were convinced about this, would we be engaging in watching the football on the phone? Would we be scrolling social media, wasting time? Or would we be 100% engaged in the service of the Lord? What would we be doing? So, if we're not engaged 100% in the service of the Lord, that means to one small degree or other we're thinking, yes, in principle I agree, but if I just do this, there's no harm. That will make me a little bit happier. That'll help me relax. So we have to become convinced. of something I read today. And let me see if I can actually find the evidence. I will show you the evidence. But let me actually see if I can find you the evidence. And what I read was that what we don't understand is that every act of enjoyment, every sense gratification, like we watch a movie and we think, oh, that was really lovely. But that enjoyment we experience is our worst enemy. Let me see if I can find it. I think Prabhupada says this in the purport of 5.2. Let me just find it for you. Enemy. Let me see if it comes. This is it. This is from the purport of chapter 3, text 39. If anyone likes to confirm their evidences. Prabhupada says, while one enjoys sense gratification, it may be that there is some feeling of happiness, but actually that so-called feeling of happiness is the ultimate enemy of the sense enjoyer. Now we have to become convinced of this, because otherwise, who doesn't like a little bit of sense enjoyment? If it's enjoyable, why not? What harm is it doing anyone? But Prabhupada says it is the ultimate enemy. Jai Shishi Radha Gokulananda. Jai Shishi Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman. Jai Shishi Gonitai. Shlo Prabhupada Ki Jai. It is the ultimate enemy. So, tell me one thing you really like to do as your sense enjoyment. Let's be honest. Okay, for me, my most vulnerable thing, because I've kicked out the TV, but unfortunately I still have this. So if I'm really tired and I'm really just can't control my mind, I will watch a video. And it's just, yes, now, that's enjoyable. But how is that my worst enemy? It's binding me. Every time I engage in this, I sow the seed of addiction to further sense gratification. Even the non-devotees understand this. Every time we feed our addiction, we cement our addictions. And even though it's painful to say no, it's hard. Now in Krishna consciousness, rather than just saying, no, I'm not going to watch that video, we say, okay, let me watch something to do with Krishna. Let me watch a Krishna story, or listen to a video with someone speaking, giving class about Krishna, or let me, if I want to do it, let me do something in connection with Krishna. So gradually we begin to redirect the mind, just like Prabhupada gives the example of a child being naughty. Let's say a child is playing with matches, and you want the child to stop playing with the matches. You can say, stop, take that away. Take away the matches. Or you can say, here, play with this car, and give him the toy car. So Krishna consciousness is like that. The path of yoga, being explained in this chapter, chapter 6, is the path of take it away. So the yogis, who knows about Ashtanga Yoga here? Anyone heard about it? You've heard it? Any of the gentlemen heard about Ashtanga Yoga? Would any of you like to? I'm sure Prabhu can tell me. In fact, Prabhu can probably give a better class than me. But is there one of these gentlemen who'd like to tell me anything about Ashtanga Yoga? Do you know any of the steps of Ashtanga Yoga? Ladies, do you know any of the steps of Ashtanga Yoga? You do? No? Okay. Yam, niyam. So that's before you start the yoga bit. That's still when you're living in life at home. But you're practicing rules and regulations. So there's certain things you don't do, you don't eat meat, fish, eggs, you don't have illicit sex, you don't intoxicate, you're learning to lead a disciplined life. And there's certain things you do. And like study scripture, bathe early in the morning, all the things that make us come to the mode of goodness. And then once you've controlled your senses, the yogi, he goes and does asana. So now asana means, not like they do in the yoga clubs today, where you put on your leotard, and then you go and sit and you do your asanas a bit, and then you go out to the movies or the restaurant. No. They go away to a solitary, secluded place. No one else there. Now they're giving up sense gratification. And they sit first and do pranayama. Pranayama is for beginning to bring the whole body and the mind peaceful. You've just left material life. And then they do pratyahara. This pratyahara is talked about here. This is where, with their intelligence and their mind, they stop thinking about the family, about the life they used to live. No, these things is all Maya. No. So it's like we're trying to take, just like the child is playing with matches, you just take it away. So the yogis just stop this. Stop thinking about Maya. Just think about Krishna. The path of Krishna consciousness is a little different. It's easier in this age. Because the path of Krishna consciousness says, okay, take this instead. This is also nice. Have some nice kirtan. Was anyone here for the kirtan earlier? I mean, wasn't it beautiful? It really was. It's so enjoyable. It's not like an austerity. And we can then sit down together and discuss some meaning about life. I remember when I went to university, this is my old days, I don't do that kind of thing for many years, but we used to go to the wine club in the evening and then talk about the meaning of life. So we can also come here and talk about the meaning of life, just without the wine club, but the kirtan instead, the kirtan club. And then we take some nice prasadam, and we see the beautiful form of the Lord. And then we can also volunteer, do some services. So we're beginning to fill our lives with positive activity that begins to connect the mind to Krishna. Because what did we say at the beginning? What does the fish need to be happy? It needs to be in water. What do we, the soul, need to be happy? We need to be in full Krishna consciousness or connected with Krishna. So right now we're trying to be happy by doing all the wrong things. We're starting with the wrong equation, and we feel more and more depressed, more and more anxious, more and more angry, more and more frustrated. So the path of Krishna consciousness is, okay, you want to go out and meet people? Go and meet people for a kirtan. Go to a Gita class. Go do some voluntary work. And like that, we begin to re-engage the mind in connection with Krishna. Has anyone tried that? Many of you I know are very serious devotees. But tell me honestly, amongst those of you who've tried it, what makes you feel kind of like that? This is from the old days when I used to watch TV. I'm giving away all my little secrets here. There used to be a beer called Heineken, and there was an advert for that beer. Do you remember? That Heineken can reach the parts no other beer can reach. And I remember I don't know if that ad's still out, but I remember when I was visiting the temple, I thought, my God, this Krishna can reach the parts that nothing else has ever reached. It was the real McCoy. Everywhere I had tried to find fulfillment, there was some little kind of ephemeral taste. The next day, it'd be like, ugh, horrible. But with Krishna consciousness, I couldn't figure out why. There was no drink involved. There was nothing, kind of like, if you said to anyone, what do you do? I went to the temple and we had kirtan, we had Bhagavad Gita class. Boring. No, it wasn't boring. It was like, wow, I just feel so fulfilled deep in my heart. So that's because the soul is beginning to reconnect with Krishna. And as we begin to reconnect and we feel that happiness for which the soul is always hankering, then that conviction arises in the heart. Without that experience, we can think, well, it's a nice philosophy, but just a little bit of might never hurt anybody. But as we begin to experience the difference, then we start thinking, no, there is really something to this. And then we can start becoming very seriously, beginning to pursue our real self-interest in life. And our real self-interest in life, would anyone like to tell me? So now you're very welcome. I love your participation. Please, someone, go ahead. No, someone else wants to speak up, do speak up. Otherwise, I know she will help me out. What is the real self-interest in life? Go ahead. To serve Krishna. Yes. And I also found, I love quoting Prabhupada actually. You're absolutely right. And I wanted to also quote a little bit from Prabhupada. I find, although the mind may be engrossed in fruitive activities and influenced by ignorance, one must develop a love for devotional service to Krishna. Only then can one have the opportunity to get out of the bondage of material existence. We have to, it's a little bit, Prabhupada gives the example of a man with jaundice. I don't know if anyone here has ever had jaundice, but I think I did. I did have it as a child. I can't really remember, but I can tell you what Prabhupada says about jaundice. He says that sugar candy is the cure for jaundice, apparently. I take his word for it. And he said, but for a person who's seriously suffering from jaundice, sugar candy, which to any healthy person tastes yummy, to a person with jaundice tastes yuck, very bitter. Oh, they don't like it. But they have to take a little sugar candy. And the more they take it, even though at first it's very bitter and horrible, it begins to cure the jaundice. And I think jaundice is probably a condition of the liver, isn't it? So it begins to heal the liver. And as the liver begins to heal, slowly, the sugar candy tastes less and less bitter. And the sweetness is more and more perceptible. So then, as the sweetness is more perceptible, it's easier to take the medicine. It becomes easier and easier to take the medicine. And then when they're completely healed, they taste the full sweetness of the sugar candy. And then it's like they can't stop eating it. It's like, oh, no, I just want sugar candy now. So we have to become like that. In the beginning, sacrificing our time to come and sit for a whole hour listening to the Gita might seem a little... We have a tendency to fall asleep in the class. Or to come in the morning, rise early in the morning. We don't have to come to the temple to do sadhana. You do know we can't do sadhana at home if you live far away. Sometimes people say, oh, I can't do it because I don't live near the temple. You don't need to live near the temple. You can rise at home, you have a little altar, a little picture of Krishna, if you'd like to put some of the parampara, the acharyas there, or Lord Chaitanya. And then you have your japa mala, and you chant. And in the beginning it's like, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. But the more you engage in devotional service, hearing about, glorifying, remembering, worshipping, praying to, the more your disease, this bodily disease, begins to diminish. This envy of God actually comes down to envy of God, our disease. That begins to diminish. And as it begins to diminish, we think, it's not bad, this. Yeah, I can chant 2 rounds now. I didn't mind that. I'm beginning to enjoy this. And the more we do it, then gradually we revive our healthy spiritual existence. And then we develop a love for it because it becomes really tasty. So our greatest good fortune is when we develop that love, because then we know, now I'm healthy. Now the idea is sense gratification is no more. And we don't have to do what the Ashtanga yogis do. That's a very difficult path in this age. It is a legitimate path. But where are you going to find a solitary place? And who is that person who's led such a, when I say sattvic life, does anyone not know what I mean by sattvic life? Everyone knows what I mean by a sattvic life, a very disciplined life, where you've really been always in the mode of, always acted dutifully, never engaged in nonsense. So you're very disciplined. A very disciplined person can do that. But most of us, we've not been brought up with such discipline. But Krishna consciousness, even if you can't do that hard path, stay at home with your family, go to your work, have your nice meal, sit with your children or your grandchildren, but add hearing about Krishna. And now we're so fortunate. Do you know, on your smart devices, you can hear Prabhupada on practically any platform. You can hear Prabhupada giving lecture on YouTube, on Spotify. You can hear all of his books, free, absolutely free. Isn't that amazing? Krishna makes it so easy. So we can just sit at home and listen to Bhagavad Gita, discuss it with our family. Very simply, it's very easily, we're taking the medicine of gradually taking the sugar candy of connection with Krishna, of devotional service. And this begins to heal us. Because you know what? Another way that sense gratification becomes our worst enemy. My daughter, my youngest daughter, is an up-and-coming music producer. And she did some, I forget what it's called, when you work for someone just on an ad hoc basis, freelancing, yeah. For Annie Nightingale. I don't know if any of you heard of Annie Nightingale. She just apparently left her body at the age of 86. Anyway, I never knew about Annie Nightingale until I heard it from my daughter. So she was the very first female DJ on BBC One. So she was quite a celebrity in her own life. And you can see pictures of her when she was young and in her prime. I mean, she lived the high life. She was a very successful professional woman. She was rubbing shoulders, intimate friends with all celebrities, including people like the Beatles. I mean, she was really up there. My daughter was saying that when she was, just before she left her body, she was still a very dynamic and very determined lady, but she was 86. Now what happens to us as we come to our 80s? Prabhu, slowly we're losing all our faculties. In our 60s it's going, I can tell you, starts with your memory and your teeth. And all our good looks, it all starts going, don't you worry. Everything starts going. By the time you're in your 70s and 80s, you can't remember a thing. And, you know, things that young people pick up really quickly because society is changing really fast. You go back 100 years ago, if you lived to you were 80, you was the wise one in the village because you knew things, your life experience, you knew when to plant what seeds. The young ones would come to you because life didn't change. You'd learned all these life skills they now needed to learn. You had it. It was all part of your brain. It was solidified in you. Now life is changing so fast that old people, we're the fools in the community because we don't know how these devices work. The young people know. So it's becoming more and more like we have no contribution to make. We don't know a thing anymore. Life changed so fast. So all our so-called success now becomes our misery. Because we've gone from being a very dynamic, successful, cutting edge of society to a relic. And it's really hard dealing with that, isn't it? If you go from success to nothing, it's very hard dealing with that. But, Prabhus, if during your high life, if during our youth, we invest just a little time a day, just an hour a day, to hearing half an hour of Bhagavad Gita and trying to understand it, maybe discussing it with our family. Prabhupada asked us to do this. Or chanting one round, and then you go to your busy career and you do all the busy things you've got to do. But every year you're cultivating this. By the time you're in your 80s and nothing else is there, you'll have developed a taste for Krishna. You'll have developed a love for Krishna. And what would have otherwise been a miserable time, you begin to realize, everything else I did up to now was wasting my life. Now I'm in the prime of my life, because now I can absorb myself in Harikatha. So while we're young, while you're young, begin to cultivate that taste for Harikatha. Prabhupada asked us, he says, if you go to chapter 13, text 8 to 12, he gives us what I call the 4 wheels of a happy married life. He says in that purport, it's a very long purport because he's put 4 verses together. So it's chapter 13, text 8 to 12, and it's a paragraph beginning, as for detachment. As for detachment from family, wife, home, kids. He says it's not that we're not meant to have any affection for our family. They're natural objects of affection. But we should do 4 things to really make our family life successful. Those 4 things are, he says, chant Hare Krishna together. Me and my husband, both of us have got rubbish voices. His voice, at least he can keep a tune. I can't keep a tune. So in the morning, we put Spotify on, and we have Kripa Moya leading us in kirtan. So we chant kirtan along in our home in front of our Gaunitai deities. Because Prabhupada says chant Hare. Or we go for a japa walk. We like to walk. It keeps you healthy. We go for a japa walk together. He says, chant Hare Krishna together. Then he says, so eat prasad. Don't eat boga. When we eat boga, we eat sin. Because something had to die. Even if it's a wheat, we have to pluck that wheat. If you kill anything for your own sense gratification, you must get the karma. But if you take the foods that the Lord says He will accept, He says, I will accept grains, fruits, milk. He says that in the Gita, patram, pushpam, palam toyam. And if we make nice foodstuffs and we offer it for Him, then we don't get the karma because He was the enjoyer. We just take His remnants. So we take prasad. So don't eat boga. So cook foodstuffs for your deity. Offer it and eat it. It's not bad, is it? It's not hard. What's the third thing he says? Yes. And it's so nice. So we all like to talk. Those in married life, how much of your week, when you're speaking with your spouse, do you spend arguing? Should we say 20% of the time together you're spending arguing? 30%? 40%? Well, I'll tell you what, back in the 90s, I think me and my husband spent 90% of our time arguing. Then in 1995, we heard Prabhupada say we should discuss books like Gita and Bhagavatam together. So we thought, okay, can't get much worse than this. Let's give it a try. And we began discussing Gita and Bhagavatam. In the morning, half an hour Bhagavatam. In the evening, half an hour Gita. And over 5 years, it took a little time. It's not like from one day to the next. But 5 years was pretty good. We'd been married 15 years and it hadn't stopped. So for it to stop in 5 years, that was good. In 5 years, we didn't argue. We were now talking. And I tell you, the whole secret was that we began discussing Gita and Bhagavatam because we began to talk through our lives in the light of Gita and Bhagavatam. And now we have the most amazing relationship. You can ask Sanayana, she knows this well. Just sit together with your family. If you work too hard, long days, you can't do it every day, once a week, Prabhupada said. At least come together. Get it in like a pin. Now you're young. Get it in as a pin. Once a week, sit with your family and discuss Gita and Bhagavatam. And what's the last thing he said? Yes, and that's not very difficult. You can either come here and volunteer at the temple, or you make yourself a little altar at home, and you offer some incense, you offer your food, you offer a flower, you have some kirtan. It's so easy. Put Krishna as the master of the home. If you do that, if you put Krishna's deity or even picture form in your home and you put him as the master and we're serving him, we're cooking for him, buy flowers for him, then you know what? Everything you do, including going to work and paying your bills, paying your mortgage or paying your electricity, everything becomes yoga. Because now everything you're doing is for the service of your deity. Yes?
How would you suggest discussing the Gita with your family? Will you read a chapter?
What a wonderful question. How would I suggest you discuss Gita with your family? So, just as a quick, I would suggest you sit down and you read one paragraph, one verse, to go systematically through the Gita. Start from the beginning. Prabhupada said, do it systematically. So start from the beginning. So we sing a little Jai Radha Madhava. If you don't know the words for Jai Radha Madhava, you can either put it on a recorded one or skip that part if you can't do it. Then you read one verse and you say, what did I understand? And ask everyone in the family, say, what did you understand? Read one paragraph. What did we understand? And repeat it in your own words. Don't speculate. Just try to repeat in your own words what you heard the acharyas say. Prabhupada is giving us explanations in his purport. And if all we have to do is read it and then say, what did I understand him to tell me? Put that in my own words. And everyone take a turn at doing that. And you'll begin to see, gradually, Krishna begins to work miracles in our life. And this is my big thing. I love helping people discuss Gita. So if you give me your WhatsApp afterwards, I'll link you into a whole community where we're trying to encourage people how to really take discussion of the Gita seriously and learn how to do it at home so that they get more and more out of it. But just that, if you just do that, read one paragraph and say what I understood, and everyone take a turn. So thank you for that question. I'm so glad you did that because that showed that you were actually engaging with the subject matter. Did anyone else want to say anything? Because before the deities open and we do the 7 o'clock aarti, I want to thank you all for coming and for your participation. Jai, Shri Radha Gokulananda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Shri Radha Gokulananda ki, Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Shri Shri Gauranitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Ki Bhajayo Jayo Gaura Chanada Arati Shobha. Chanade Arati ko shobha Ki Bhajayo Jayo Gaura Chanade Arati ko shobha. Jana vitatavane jagamana loka Dakina nitai chan Ekatadvaita Shrini Vasachatradara Vusiyache Gaurachan Ratna Simkasane Vusiyache Gaurachan Ratna Simkasane Harate Horena Brahma Adidevagane Narari Adikore Chamaradulaya Narari Adikore Chamaradulaya Sanjaya Mukunda Vastu Vashadigaya Sankha Bhaje Gantha Bhaje Bhaje Karatala Sankha Bhaje Gantha Bhaje Bhaje Karatala चंद्रजीने वादना उज्वाला बहुकोटि चंद्रजीने वादना उज्वाला गालादेश बनामाला करे जलमाला शिवा शुका नारादा प्रेमे गादा गादा शिवा शुका नारादा शिवा शुका नारादा प्रेमे गादा गादा शुका Bhakti Vinoda Deke Gaurara Sampada Kiba Jaya Jaya Gaura Chanadar Arati Kashobha Kiba Jaya Jaya Gaura Chanadar Arati Kashobha Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadkara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Nityananda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadkara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Nityananda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadkara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Nityananda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Gokula Nanda Radha Gokula Nanda Radha Gokula Nanda Shri Radhe Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Gaurani Thai Gaurani Thai Gaurani Thai Jaya Gaurani Thai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Hare Krishna. So now I'm going to say Prema Dvani prayers. So if you have space, you can bow down or you can hold your hands in a prayer position. And when I say ki, you have to say Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Shtotara Shata Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaja Prabhupada ki ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Shtotara Shata Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaja Prabhupada ki Namacharya Srila Haridasa Thakura ki Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gompinata Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana ki Shri Mayapur Dama ki Shri Vrindavana Dama ki Ganga Mai ki Yamuna Mai ki Bhakti Devi ki Tulasi Devi ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Shri Harinam Sankirtana ki Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So now we're gonna chant Narasimha prayers. So please sit down and sing along. Hare Krishna. Namaste Narasimhaya Namaste Narasimhaya
Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaura Pramanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Right. Right, we have to pull these out. I want one of you by the door. Can you see that door over there? Madhi. Right, I want one person. You don't take it go out.
No, you want singing? I put.
Everyone wants me to sing. No one wants me to sing. No. Who's going to help me? Who's going to help me?